I was once in the UK walking on Green Street in London. I went to buy a book from a bookstore. When I was walking out, there was a few people with me. Whilst we were walking, this man comes and he gives us a leaflet, and he says, "Ya Shaykh, you must come and accept Islam again." Ya Allah, accept Islam again? What do you mean? He says, "Ya Shaykh, you have become a mushrik." La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. This man is calling me a mushrik. He says, "Ya Shaykh, you have become a mushrik. You are not a Muslim. You must renew your faith. You must come and accept Islam again. Come to this program, look." I said, "What do you mean? Why have I become a mushrik? What are you saying? I am a Muslim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. I believe in Islam." He says, "Brother, you live in the UK. You live in the UK, you're a non-Muslim. You can't be a Muslim living in the UK." I said, "Why not?" He says, "Because in the Quran it says, Inil hukmu illa lillah." Exactly the same as the Kharji said to Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. Inil hukmu illa lillah. Hukum is only for Allah. And you are living amongst the government who is claiming to be the hakam other than Allah. They are taghut. They are false gods, and you are believing in false gods, living amongst them. You are a mushrik. This is what he says to me. I said to him, "What about yourself?" He says, "Yeah, same with me, but I keep renewing my faith." I said, "Ya Allah, these people don't believe themselves to be Muslim. This is their situation. This is their situation. They believe that they are non-Muslims themselves. And this is why Ismail Dahelvi ne to likha tha kitab mein. Ismail Dahelvi wrote in his book, an extreme Wahabi from India, from India, he wrote in his book that near the end of time, one of the signs of the Day of Judgment, which the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also mentioned, that this specific wind will pass by all throughout the world. And when that wind passes by, that air passes by, all the Muslims will pass away. And Ismail Dahelvi says कि वो हवा चल चुकी. He says that wind has passed. Yani he is not a Muslim anymore. He is not a Muslim. It's past and all the Muslims have died. We are all non-Muslims. Al-ayadu billah. And you know the kitab ka naam kya hai? Sirat-e-Mustaqim, the straight path. A non-Muslim showing us the straight path. Soche aap. Now this person says this to me. I said, wait a second. Inil hukmu lillah does not mean that we cannot live in the UK. There were so many hakam in the Quran. I told him about the verse about the male and the female spouse having an argument amongst each other. It says, hakaman min ahliya, hakaman min ahliya. What about that? He says, I don't know, I'll have to ask my sheikh. Yeah, I'll have to ask my sheikh. I said, okay. What about the fact that all these hukam that were sent by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as hakims all around to make decisions and sent us qadis and khudat amongst the people, what about them? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is committing shirk. He says, brother, let me go and call my sheikh, speak to my sheikh. And his sheikh's down there giving more leaflets. So he brings this other man who has a bit of a more longer beard than his own. And this sheikh comes and he says, what's the problem, what's the matter? I said, this man is saying, because I am living in the UK, I am a mushrik, whereas I am a Muslim. He says that, brother or sheikh, whatever you are, if you're living in the government and you're following the government here in the UK, then you are a mushrik. How can you follow the law of anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is shirk. I said, what are you doing here? What are you doing over here? He says, I have come here to spread Islam. I said, but you are a non-Muslim. He says, no, I am a Muslim. I said, okay. If I am living in the UK and following the law of these people, this is what we believe. As long as we are not following any law that makes us contradict the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are okay to follow this law. I said to him, tell me, when you come to a red light at the traffic light, do you stop or do you not stop? And he paused for a while and he thinks and he says, brother, I don't drive. I don't drive. I said, okay. I said, if somebody is driving and he comes to a red light and he stops there, what is the hukum? He says, if he stops because it is the law of England, then he is a mushrik. But if he stops just because he wants to stop, then he is not a mushrik. I said, Ya Allah, what kind of law do you follow? What kind of a law is this? I said to him, okay, you tell me that if I was to go inside your house when you go inside your house, do you take your shoes off or not? He says, yeah, we all take our shoes off, it's our etiquette. I said, okay, so if I came into your house and I don't take my shoes off, and I walk into your front room, I walk into your back room, I walk upstairs in your bedroom, I start jumping on your bed with my shoes on, do you have a problem with that? He says, yes, of course I have a problem. You can't walk into my house with shoes on, you have to take my shoes off, especially not on my bed, because I've got to sleep on that bed. So I said, where does it say in the Quran? Where does it say in the Quran that I have to take my shoes off? He says, brother, that's my house, so in my house I can make the rules. I said, Ya Allah, this is the house of the government of England. This is their home, this is where they make their rules. It is exactly the same as you're saying. If you can make your own rules, as long as they don't contradict the rules and law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your own home, then this is the home of these people. And this is their country. And that's why they make the rules. And if they are giving rules which are there to protect the Muslims and ensure that we are safe, why do we stop at red lights? It is for the safety of the people. And Islam encourages safety. Islam has taught safety. So how can you become a mushrik by following such a law? This is the mentality of these people. This is their extreme ideology. This is what they do. And I read a report, I read a research from one of their great scholars who recruit extremists. They recruit people from amongst our youth people and they brainwash them. They radicalize them. And do you know, in this report, this was a report by one of these extremist researchers from America who was part of Al-Qaeda. He wrote this report and he sent it out to all the affiliates, all the people who were from Al-Qaeda all over the globe. And I received a copy of it, and you know what it says in there? It says, do not target the people of knowledge. Do not target the people of knowledge. Target those who have no knowledge of Islam. Bring them closer. Do you understand that? So it's ignorant people that they target. And they take you and they start mentioning verses of the Arabic language in Arabic, the verses of the Quran, and they astonish you that, wow, he's reciting the Quran so beautifully. And he is, subhanallah, you know, he's got so much good speaking skills, and they do have good speaking skills. And they try and brainwash people like this. And then they show people false information, like, oh, all these sisters of ours have been raped in Iraq, and this has happened, and they did this. And I do understand that it happens, and may Allah protect our Muslim sisters all over the world. And I do not agree with the Americans and the British and whoever else went into Iraq falsely claiming that there were weapons of mass destruction. There was none, and it was wrong of them to go, and we do not accept that. And we completely denounce that. And in the same way we denounce the fact that they went into Afghanistan and killed so many innocent people. Islam doesn't teach that. Islam teaches peace and mercy.